Hello, everyone. I welcome you to Marry Age, a program of the Soul Sisters and Brothers Apostolate. I am Agatha Nwokocha, greeting you from Stockholm, from Uppsala City of Sweden. Today, we shall be discussing, or we shall be listening to Reverend Sister Dr. Ngozi Okpalaenwe, and her topic is Focus as a Process for Inner Healing. Who is Sister Dr. Ngozi Okpalaenwe? Sister is a member of the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary Congregation, presently on mission in Kenya. She's a she's a lecturer at the Psycho Spiritual Institute at the Marist International University and also Tangaza University College. Sister is from Catholic Diocese of Oka. She is a formator. She is a prolific writer. And in fact, this year, she has written a book called Power of Self-Care. If you are interested in getting it, you can get it through her website, psychotherapy-ngozi.com. Sister is a professional counselor and accredited professional mediator. She specializes in spirituality, psychology, and culture. Sister, we welcome you. Happy summer from this end.
Thank you very much. I am glad to be here with you once again.
Yes, once again, we're Oliver Twist. Anyway, sister, lead us in the opening prayer.
Okay, we are going to use John chapter 9, 2 to 3. So I will invite you to read it when I have introduced the prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Lord, we thank you for the gift of this moment which you have made. We ask you to open our hearts and mind to listen to what you are going to teach us today. You are the teacher. We are only instruments. So with this, I invite you to read from John chapter 1 to 7, verse 1 to 7, so that we hear.
Okay, sister, I will read it. John chapter 9, verse 1 to 7, and I read, As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it's day, we must do the work of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can walk. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Go, he told him, wash in the pool of Siloam. This word means sent. So the man went and washed and came seeing. The word of the Lord. Thanks be
We
to God. So,
we just
sister, we are all ears.
yes. Thank you very much. And I want to begin from that reading. When problems or difficulties arises in our life, we are very quick to point fingers at someone, looking for someone to blame, or we want to find out what is wrong about others. Sadly, some of the families we have today are destroying themselves because of blame. The disciples saw a man blind, okay? And they start ask Jesus, whose fault is it? Who is at fault? That's where we always begin. And Jesus told them, nobody's at fault here. It is for the glory of God, which at times we don't understand because our mind has geared to find out whom to pin down and to condemn. The man that was blind has nothing to do with sin, it has everything to do with God. Whether we come up against physical disability, psychological disorder, or whatever problem we have in life, we can turn point fingers blaming at others instead of joining in prayer, asking God, looking for the solution. Every challenge we face in life is an opportunity for God's work to be revealed in us. And that's bring me back to the topic we are looking at today, focusing. Many a times we don't focus on the issues that matters to us within ourselves. We focus outside. And that is the biggest problem that we have. So today, I'm going to talk about focusing as a means of healing, inner healing. Focusing is about the wisdom of the body, how to discover yourself within. It helps one to identify and relieve very alarming symptoms, pains, persistent pain, depression, anxiety, agitation, obsession in our body that makes us point at others instead of looking at within. So the difference in therapy is that how we talk is what gives the healing. If I ask you the question, the healing of the blind man, was it by faith or a miracle? Because often we look for miracle when faith can do it, when the knowledge we have can do it for us. And that's why when miracle happens in our life every day, we don't get it. So we need to take time to reflect on that, on this reading, to ask yourself, was it by faith that this man was cured, or was it a miracle? Remember, Jesus never cured anyone who had no faith. So was it a miracle? If Jesus did it, he said you can even do more. And I'm trying to explain to you today that you can do more if you understand how to focus on your life. Has it ever occurred to you that most people are controlled by their feelings and emotions? Why do people find it easier to invent their anger, even kill, instead of allowing time, understanding to heal them? How many people know difference between what they feel and what they think? Because many a times we don't take time to listen to our feelings within. And I'm saying that focusing helps you to understand who you are. If you understand who you are very well, then treating your issues will be simple because now you know where you're coming from. But the problem is that we are caught up in this blame tactics. It's my fault, it's your fault. So you are looking for somebody else to pin down on the problem that if you understand, you could have solved yourself. So, and that's why our level is so low because we depend on people. Now, there was a professor called Jen Delane and his co-researchers. They have tried so many ways to see how they can help people to understand themselves. They have realized that many people who go for counseling still do not understand themselves. And some people counseling help them, for some it doesn't help them. So they keep asking, what is it that block healing and development within a human person? Why is it that when you are angry, for example, you are not looking into yourself to see what is creating this anger, but you are looking outside to see who is causing it? So they did a lot of research, up to 30 years, trying to find out. And that's how they discovered focusing, that what helps people to heal is when they look inward. When you begin to look inward, you will see a lot of things you'll be surprised at. You'll be wondering, is it me? But when you are able to pass through those processes, you will see how beautifully God made each and every one of us. Even in our mistakes, we can learn. The actual reason for making mistake is to learn, is not to blame. As I said, no one makes you angry or sad. We have to learn to own them and stop blaming others. People can trigger our anger, but they cannot trigger it if it is not there. So we own it. How do we own it? Gently discover that through focusing, you will receive a self-help where you can even sort your problem using the 6 steps he has created. And that 6 step he called focusing. And in that 6 step, there is something called felt sense, which when you are get the what is the main issue that I'm tackling with, when you're able to reach there, you don't need somebody else to solve your problem because you have already seen it and you know it. So the focusing help one to get that felt sense. It's like unconscious experience when you can say, ah, okay, so this is the issue. Then you stop blaming people. Like one day I was driving and I mistakenly matched on the wrong throttle. Instead of matching on the brake, I matched on the throttle and the car flew. So people who were around, thank God they ran away. Then when I stopped, they ran in and said, are you okay? I say, yes, I am okay. I'm aware of what I did. I matched the long throttle. And they said, can you drive? I said, yes, I can. Because I am aware. But if I'm not aware, I will start shaking. What happened? Who has done this? Who has confused me? And yet nobody did. It's me and me alone. And I apologize to them for frightening them and thanking them for moving away. Then I drove home. But if I'm not aware, if I'm not focused, I will come out of the car shaking. Everybody saying sorry. And I start playing the drama that is not needed. You know? So, and sometimes we avoid these painful feelings that house inside our body that's supposed to give us information. And because we avoid them, we get sick, we get pain, and we are looking for doctors who doesn't need us. And of course, they have to sometimes sell their medicine. So focusing is the process of listening to your body in a gentle, accepting way and hearing the message that your inner self is sending to you. The only thing that tells us the truth all the time is our body. It's a process of honoring the wisdom that you have inside you. Become aware of these small, small things that gets you angry unnecessarily. At times you see somebody, you get angry. The person has done nothing. The person is not the problem. Ask yourself, where is this anger coming from? Our brains and body know far more than is normally available to us. We are conscious of only a small bit. Most of our behaviors are within, but we don't listen. If you really take time to listen to self, you gain a lot of insight. You will have a physical release. You will have a positive life change. You feel, and you understand yourself. You will stop using negative word on people. Because the negative word you use on people comes from within. When you tell somebody that is a fool, for example, it means that you have element of foolishness in you. That's why it came up. You know, because the word is coming from your mouth, is not from that person. And this always comes from our nervous central system, who always give us the wrong signal when we don't listen. No, it's like a child. A child is talking to you, you are not listening. He wants to beat you so that you will listen. But when you are listening, he will not beat you. So it's like that within us. Many times our voice, our mind want to speak, but we shut them up because we are negative and we want to blame others all the time. People who blame people all the time have so many mental health issues that they need to look into. But if you know about yourself, you reduce. So, in befriending and listening to your body, gendering says that you will develop your brain. You have a better mindset and even sense what is happening within your environment, and you're able to judge what is happening. You will have less time of complaining about people who do this and who do that. Eugene also say that to be logical in your thinking, always ask yourself, how many times did I abuse people today? If you calculate the number of abuses and divide it by the number of positive thoughts, it will tell you exactly who you are, whether you're a positive person. So, how do we do this? How do we get to understand this thing I'm talking about? It is not easy. When you read the book written by Gendrin, it's a small book like this, but very, 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 very difficult to understand unless you begin to get into self. When you begin to get into self, a lot of things will be revealed to you. So, if you know what people have to do to make progress and how to do it, Gendrin is saying that this is one of the ways that you can help people to be themselves. And if you understand yourself, as I'm talking about focusing today, if you are going to the hospital maybe 2 times in a month, you will stop going. Because if you know the problem, you won't go there. Many a times we go there because we are not reflecting, we are not thinking, and we leave our problem to the innocent doctors who don't know also what to do some of the times. So they give you trial method. Go and drink this 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you come back, and then we see how it goes. You know. And one of the biggest problem we have is that when people have issues, either that they tell it to the wrong people or they carry it to themselves. Neither way is not right. If you tell to the wrong people, you get the wrong answer. If you carry it to yourself, you'll be depressed. So, gendering is offering us another opportunity that instead of doing both, you have a way you can do it and then you are good. I want to tell you today that our bodies definitely know what is good and right for us. It knows what we need to grow. That's why when you eat the wrong food, your body reacts. If you put the wrong food inside, you may like it in the mouth, but the body says no. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't beat the body. You only have to listen. So, focusing is not a call to drop thinking and just feel. In focusing, you become aware of the felt sense that is in the body, and yet they are meaningful. You know, at times you are doing something, your mind tells you, don't do this. Often people don't listen. That's the body talking. They will say, no, it doesn't matter. Like if you read the story of so many books, like Julius Caesar, I take for example, the wife told him not to go out. They said, oh, these are women fears. But the body is talking. But we are not listening. And when it happens, we are looking for whom to blame. We don't go back to say, actually, I was told, but it was my mistake. Until you begin to learn how to accept our own mistakes, we can never learn from it. When we begin to keep blaming people, I blame my mother, it was my mother who didn't bring me up well. Fine, you have seen that I didn't bring you up well. What can you do to improve it? That is the main thing. It's not going to blaming them. People who live in the past, they never grow. How can you forget the past? or deal with the past so that your future, your bright future will be there. So the inner act of focusing is broken down into 6 main subparts or 6 movements that you can practice. In focusing, we don't think, we don't use our head, we use our heart, because it is in the heart that the truth is found. People who think often think out of the box. People who feel go inside to know what is really there, and they analyze it before they take action. So let me quickly explain to you the different parts. I said there are 6 of them, 6 steps. The first step, if you want to do focusing, is begin with breathing in and out exercise. Allow yourself to calm down, because if you don't calm down, it will be difficult for you to get in. Yes. What I will ask you to do will be to remain silent just for yourself and relax. But you don't relax where you will sleep, because it's not a call to sleep. It's a call to be alert. And you would also like to pay attention inwardly inside your body. As you're breathing, you're paying attention to your stomach, your chest, every part of you. For the first time, you might realize that when you're breathing, almost part of your body is also breathing. They are all moving. But at times we just breathe and take it for granted. So allow yourself to look into all these parts of your body. And as you're looking, you will notice the part of you that is painful or uncomfortable or sensation or something. You will begin to notice. Often we don't notice until it becomes overbearing, then we run to for help. But if we start on time to notice it, we take care of it. So when you are calming down in silence, you begin to notice some pains in some part of your body. And those pains are messages. They're not just pain. Then because you don't listen to them, they grow and become a problem. Now, when you have a pain or when you have issue, the first thing we do is to want to take it away. We want to drink medicine so that the pain will go. We don't listen to that pain. And that pain has a message. But when you welcome a pain, then it will speak. Just like a child. You beat a child, the child cries and runs away. But when you call the child, okay, come back, it's okay now, calm down. He becomes more of a friend than an enemy. So our pains are not enemies, they are friends. That's what focusing is teaching you today. That if you welcome your pains, Jesus said it in the Bible, make friend with your enemies when you are going to court, so that things will be easier for you when you reach there. Jesus preached that. He didn't say fight your enemies. And he never said fight enemies. He always say find a way to be different from them. Show them kindness, show them love. And they will be hands down, because they won't see whom they are fighting again. So when you have pains, you identify those pains. For focusing, you are required to pick one pain at a time to focus on. So you welcome this pain and thank him for being there. After thanking him or her, you invite that pain to tell you its origin, its story. And then your job is to listen. Not to think, but to listen. And if you truly listen, the pain will speak. Our body, remember, is made in the image and likeness of God, and is the temple of the Spirit. So if the Spirit lives there, it will speak. And there are then that the clearance and the space. Then when you are listening, it will take you to what I am talking about, felt sense. From among these selected problems, do not go inside this problem to sort it out, or the pain. Allow the pain to speak. And if you allow the pain to speak, it will take you back to the story you'll be surprised at. You know, I was doing focusing with somebody, and he said he has no problem. I said, it's okay. Let us just try and see whether you recognize any pain. As we started, he felt very sharp pain on his leg. That pain wasn't there when we started. And then he allowed this pain to speak. And this pain told him an imaginable story. He woke up, when we finished, said, I thought this pain had gone. So he's only sitting down there waiting for my attention. I say, yes. And as we finish speaking, the pain, when we have handled the pain has spoken and all that. When we finish, say, but the pain has gone. Was I telling a lie before? So we're not telling a lie. It was there, it came. Yeah. And so many of such stories. There was a man who was fighting with the family every day. After he has learned focusing, he went home and became a changed man. The senior brother used to carry all the children to his home because he's the only one working in the family. He was neglecting his own children, training the children of his brother. And the wife was angry, scolding, like, why can't you help other people, but your own child, you're not helping them. And he couldn't see until he began to focus on himself. He realized that you must remove the plank from your eyes before you remove the log from other people's eyes. He was able now to call the senior brother and say, please come and take your children. Mine are suffering. He stopped blaming people. He stopped blaming the wife. He stopped blaming anybody. He realized that it was his choice that put him in that position. He changed through focusing. He realized that he was the problem and not anyone. So that felt sense will make you pay attention to the feelings that you never paid attention to. And the senses that are in that feeling will be exposed to you. You'll be surprised. It's like, wow, is that how I have been? You know? So this man become a changed man. Even in the office, they ask him, what has happened? Where did you go? What changed? He told them, I learned focusing, and I learned to focus on myself and on my life, and things changed. So after you have got the first felt sense, the next thing is the handle. You ask yourself, what is the quality of this felt sense? It may not be clear initially. It may come in form of image. It may form in form of any word. It can be any word, anger, pain. He will tell you exactly what he is. Then when you have concluded that that is actually what you are feeling at that time, then you resonate with it. You go back and forward, check it. Is this what it is? Is it what is bothering me? Is it what I am suffering from? I never knew that this is the problem. So let the felt sense change. If it changes, you follow the flow. And then you ask penitent questions. You ask that pain questions. What is it that make me feel so? And you listen. The interesting part of focusing is that you must learn how to listen. You don't analyze. You don't tell him what is wrong or what is right. You just listen. And if you listen, the truth will be told. Some people find it difficult to listen to themselves. It's one of the difficult things people don't do. They listen to yourself. Then when you ask question, what is it about this whole problem? And you listen. You can even ask that pain, how can we make it right? He will tell you. And if you ask, supposing it goes wrong again, what will happen? It will tell you. Because it has all the answers. But you must listen. If you have to pay attention. If you notice that you're scared of what he's saying, he will disappear. It's like a mouse, you know. When a mouse wants to come out of the hole, he has to put the head out first, look and make sure that nobody is watching. Before then, he will come out. But if you notice any sign, he will go in again. Because what our pain needs is our acceptance.
Sister,
Yeah.
you have 5 more minutes, so you
Okay.
just be aware.
Yes. Now I'm on the sixth one, which is receiving. So whatever comes, receive it. Don't argue. Say, better, I don't feel this way. No. You receive it and stay with it. You know, in counseling, when somebody, after we have learned, somebody said, I'm not feeling happy today, we tell you, stay with that. Don't let it go. So that you allow the feeling to bring out the reality in you. So this process normally take between 20 to 25 minutes. And then you stop. And you can share with another person who has also done focusing. And then if you want to face another problem, then you begin the process again. But from my own experience, when one problem, which is the main problem, is identified, by the time you finish, the rest are gone. Because of this pain, many people suffer from arthritis, all this kind of pain everywhere, because we are not paying attention. And I'm saying, if we begin to pay attention to ourselves, to our body, believe me, you won't have time to blame others. You will even laugh at yourself sometimes and say, my God, is that how I am thinking? Is that how I am feeling? You know, you own yourself. You be happy with yourself and stop blaming yourself. Blame does not help anybody. Learn from your mistake and move on. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, sister. Let's see how we could rush the questions. Sister, where lies time in the process of focusing? Where lies intuition in the process of focusing?
You know, our intuition is in our heart. It's not in the head. It's in
Okay.
the heart. If you are always listening to your heart, it will always tell you the right thing to do. At times, your head may not agree with it because the head is irrational. You keep thinking, do this, do that. But your heart is where the truth is. If you have done something wrong, your heart will tell you, this thing you did is not this way, take it that way. But when you
You
are,
are referring to conscience. You are referring to your conscience. But
yes,
there can be consciences that are dead. And there are no dead consciences. So it can't give you the truth.
God did not create any dead conscience. It is us who kill them. So, and it boils down to that self. If you kill your conscience, don't blame anybody.
Don't blame anybody.
Yes.
Oh. So can one do this focusing without really having time? We are in a busy world, busy society, and a man comes home and says, "Everybody quiet," and begins to breathe in, breathe out, and
You cannot
it
even do
looks
it alone. You need a partner who will be following you with the process.
so. It's a therapy then.
Is a its own therapy, because if you do it alone, you might even fall asleep or even forget about it.
Now,
You
okay,
need.
now, sister, we want to help so many people because this is very, very rich. Now, an example of a very busy man. busy father, busy husband, married to another busy woman. They come home and he really needs to like cool off himself and focus. How or what's your advice for him to do this? The
You
time
see,
is not there.
one of the biggest problem we have is the time. We have time for everything apart from ourselves, and it's a problem. Why don't we include time for self in our timetable?
Hmm.
Yes, and the
Yeah,
self
sister,
is the most
see, time
important
for
thing.
self.
Yes, like my students, I tell them, when you're making timetable, include when to eat, when to relax, when to answer phone, when to be on your side. All should be inside that timetable. It's not just work. So
Is that
parents
not
should.
going to be a statue regulated like zombie kind, not free? No, I'm just saying somebody like, this is the time for me sister. Now I know, and to bring it. Is this not
Yes.
convent or seminary life?
No, no,
You're
no, no,
bringing.
no, no. The person who taught this is not even a priest or a religious, and it is a layman. And he has studied over the years and realized that one of the problems we have is that we don't create time for self. And we only create time for self when we are sick. When you are in the
Mm.
hospital and the doctor tells you you are not living here for 1 week, do you still remember your work? You lie down there. So why don't we prevent it by creating that time?
Now, sister, the question in line with this is you said focus, we should focus on ourselves and our life. No, I see somebody, I see a sign of being selfish, self centered. Are you agreeing? Why? How?
The truth is what Jesus said: love others as yourself.
Love yourself.
Is that self centered? No. Jesus, who
So
said,
that means
like,
if you love others to your detriment, it's not really, really balanced.
and if I love myself, I will give others freedom to be. If I
Mm.
truly, not selfish love, if I truly care for myself, I will allow others to be. But why
Okay.
we don't care for others is because we don't care for ourselves, truly. And we keep blaming others for ourselves. That
Mm.
blame, that blame is
Yes.
not worth it.
Yeah. Sister, at what point should a person seek medical attention, even while practicing this process of inner healing focus? At what
Beautiful.
point?
You know, in
Because
my
you
book,
said that pain talks, and so we listen. So after listening, what next?
you know that in my new book, The Power to Self-Care, I have power for physical self-care, spiritual self-care, financial self-care, environmental self-care. They are all there. So physical self-care, when you don't need to wait until you get sick and die before you go for checkup in the hospital.
Okay, sister, at what point will you say, look, I must go to the hospital? How long can one, continue in this process of focusing and now say, look, I have heard and have tried my best. I need to go to the hospital. I know focusing can heal, but this time I really need to go to the hospital. So
No,
that people don't
focusing.
say, okay, focusing, you don't need to go to the hospital.
No, what focusing will do is to tell you what the issue is. You are the one to take
To
care of
tell you what,
what the issue is.
okay.
Supposing that in focusing you discover that your ankle is still paining you, then you go for healing. Focusing cannot say I will heal you, but what it will help you to do that, you are now aware and you know this is where this thing is coming from.
What's the importance of the awareness? Because if I have an ankle pain and I go to the doctor and he asks me, where are you feeling pain? I said, I'm feeling this. The pain is there. I'm already aware of it. Or are you telling me that by focusing, more hidden diseases or infirmities in one will now assume will surface?
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Okay, sister.
Somebody had a quarrel with the brother, and within that quarrel, he left the house with a car. On the
Mhm.
way, he was going to cross a bridge, and there were children standing there. They flagged him down and they told him, "Don't pass that bridge, it's not strong enough. Cars have stopped using it." He told them, "You are all stupid idiot." Just called them names and continued, and he fell in. When he fell in, okay, he went to Ngambe, those people now,
Yeah.
and they started interrogating him. Why? What happened before this happened? He said, I have a problem with my brother. It was that your brother who pushed you down. You see,
Sister, let's bring this area of focus. And in Africa, we part of the blame is this witch, is that person,
yes,
that you're even going for an interview and you hit your left foot or something like that, or you wore your clothes, the back. It has omen. Where do you place this omen? Has it anything to do with focusing? Where, where,
it's
where is
because
the demarcation?
people, before you call something a name, verify first. Okay, you hit your leg.
Scientifically, you mean scientifically to verify?
You can verify to any by going inward first. That's what I'm saying. Instead of going outside first, go inward. Then if you search inward and you are really free and okay, then you can go outward. Focusing is not saying don't go anywhere, but focusing is saying your body is as important as your soul and everything. Attend to that body before you move out, so that you don't lay unnecessary blame on things that does not exist. Okay? Like the story somebody sent to me. Somebody bought a new car. Every 1 p.m., the car will start itself. You know?
Ghost who?
So that's why it is a go. They want stay praying, Holy Ghost fire, blah blah blah. That somebody
And is
is
it true that wait, sister, let's verify. Is it true? Was she imagining, or was it really true that
it
the
is true
car?
now. Listen to the story.
Oh,
So when this man now has to contact the people he bought the car, and they said, "Oh, sorry, we didn't remove that this thing, that car was fashioned for people who are addicted and things like that, so that when they have issues, the car can help to start on its own and help them to move. So they should have removed that before they sold the car."
okay. It's
And
not
when it
that
was
there is a
removed,
ghost. Okay, it's
when
not that a ghost once bought it, or somebody once bought the car and asked.
exactly, that will be the mentality of our people without checking round, you know.
Hmm.
So when
Sister,
he removed it, the car stopped starting by itself. The ghost disappeared, you know. So many of us in the reality don't look into ourselves,
so
don't
there
check
are so
things
many
around.
ghosts. There are so many ghosts that will disappear within and around us when we really focus and look inside. Now, sister, seriously now, looking inward, how easy is it to really look inwards?
It's not easy.
It's not having the time looking inwards, because I will quote you. You said it's full of surprises when we look inwards. That is this really me? And where is the courage of starting? And where comes the courage of continuing? Because it's like digging out certain things in you.
Yes, it's not easy. First of all, you must be willing and want to do it.
Okay.
And then you can receive training. As I said, you can't do it alone on your own until you begin to practice. When you have practiced and mastered, then you can. But at the beginning, many people are afraid of looking inside themselves. You can believe that with me. We are spend time looking at others, condemning them, using negative words and bad words against them, but we don't have time to look at ourselves. We are afraid of ourselves. So the only way to begin is to be, first of all, willing to do it. Then you look for help. All of us need help. Everybody. Nobody is perfect. Nobody knows it all. I need help. You need help. But if you feel that your life is all about work, 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 then it's not balanced. You must create time for self. Even if it is 20, 30 minutes, it means a lot for self. When you relax and rest, you do better work, you think better, you reason better. But when it is work, 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 money, 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 you are not living. That is not life. God did not create us to be chasing money and chasing all these material things. They are good, but they are not the end. There is more to life, especially the
Wow.
self.
In fact, sister, it's not that I'm pausing you. The story in the Bible that is coming in my mind is the man that had a big barn,
Uh-huh.
planted, harvested, stored, and he had no time probably to thank God who
Mhm.
gave him the wisdom, the energy, made the crops to grow. And he said, oh, let me even expand. He
Mhm.
expanded because the produce was much. And when it was now time for him to relax, he said, oh, it's time for me to relax. And God came to him that very night and said, your life, I want it. And he
Exactly.
was called a fool.
Yes. Anybody who don't have time for self has no time for God also. Many a times
Sister,
we
you said that people who live in the past never grow. Now, my question is it positive past or negative past? Because I want to live in my positive past because it encourages me ahead. So, which past are you talking about?
focusing encourages people to live in the here and now. When you live
What
in the,
about your past? What about your past?
you can work on your past but move on, because there are more things and better things in the future, even in the here.
Nkiruka. It's like Nkiruka.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. I am not saying that
Sisters, call me. Give me points now. A or B? Should be A.
you see,
Wow,
people
this is
always
very,
think that
very interesting.
maybe that what they have in the past is the best, and they block themselves for the here and now. They can also improve more. Yeah.
Wow. Sister, you talked about anger, that that people only trigger and the
Yes.
anger in one.
Yes.
So, how do we overcome anger and avoid people? Because people must definitely step on our toes, just as we step on people's toes. Now, how do we live off anger? And how do we avoid people triggering anger? Not just anger or anything in us that we make.
Okay, I will answer that question with a short story. I supposing I have an appointment with somebody, and we say we are going to meet at a place at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. I come, I don't see you. I wait 3, 4, 5, I don't see you. I will be very angry, isn't it?
Sister, I know where you're going to. Talk your story. I will
I will be
support.
very I will be very, very angry, isn't it? And I have a right
Yeah,
to be angry because
yeah.
you didn't call me, you didn't tell me where what happened and all that, okay? Then maybe after 3 days I see you. The way I respond to you will depend on the person that I am. If I start by talking to you about me, that's why self-knowledge is very important. I will tell you, Agatha, I am very, very angry. The fact that I didn't see you and you
Because
didn't
you are
call.
older, sister.
Hmm?
If the person is your boss and saying that can lead to your to lead to query or fire to be
No,
fired
I will.
or your
No,
superior.
that is one of the biggest problem we make. You have to express your feelings. When you don't express it, it
No, but
destroys.
sister, but do you understand the angle on which I'm talking?
Mm.
You know, are you going to tell your boss, I am very angry? This is where the person your daily bread comes from. I probably maybe your lecturer, and you know this person can have, authority over you.
And that is why Africans need to wake up, because it is
Okay.
good to allow people to express their anger. It's not that you'll be shouting or screaming, but it's also good to express. I was not really happy, sir. I waited for you. And any reasonable person will explain to you. But if you start shouting and screaming and blaming the person, then you're going nowhere. That's what I'm trying to say. When I claim it, even my face will show the manager or the director that I'm not happy. Yes. And if he's a human being, he will ask you, why is your face like that? They can say, sorry, sir, 3 days ago, I waited for you, you didn't come, so I wasn't sure whether you were coming.
What if he ignores you and pretends as if he's not seeing your face?
That is the person's problem, but I have a right to express myself. If the person doesn't see it, it's still the person's problem. It's
Where
not
ends
mine.
your right, sister? Where ends your right in expressing your feeling?
See, the right I have in expressing my feeling is to express it without insulting you, without making you feel that you are my problem, without making you see me as person creating problem, but at the same time expressing myself. You remember when Mary went to look for Jesus in the Bible? He expressed
The
her feelings.
part of Jesus was one.
He expressed her feelings. He told, my son, why did you do this thing to us? Your father and I have been going about looking for you. He expressed her feelings. He didn't hide it. He didn't pretend. And he said it and she went. Whatever the son said belonged to the son and not to her.
And Jesus followed. Jesus followed
That's
her
what I'm saying. He
immediately.
didn't get
Yeah.
scolding Jesus. You are a stupid boy. You are this. He just said, my son.
Okay, sister, let's move in into negative words. Using negative, you said those who use more negative words are expressing in reality who they are. They are, the way we talk. How can one really stop this vice of not using the? Okay, somebody is behaving stupidly, really.
Mhm.
So, and is it not justifiable to let that person realize that you're being like, aren't you stupid?
You
Like
remember
a question, not
also,
not you are stupid, to
yes,
behaving stupidly.
you remember in the Bible what Jesus said. He said, do not call people's names, do not judge, do not condemn, so that you will not be condemned. Because to be honest with you, all of us do stupid things from sometimes, all of us. One. Then secondary, I as a human being do not have right to condemn others. I don't really have. Because God did not give. He said, leave the judgment to me. And that's why we should be more compassionate and more understanding. Now, let me ask you, if you use that negative word to that person, does it change anything? It doesn't. The person gets angry, get belittled, get more. So, if your statement does not add to my happiness, keep it to yourself. Don't give it to me. Because even if I have done something wrong, your condemning me, cursing me will not help me to do it right.
No, yes.
Yeah. Like the
Wow.
story of a little boy who went to school, nursery, and the teacher marked big good on whatever he has written. He was so happy, running home to show the mother. But he held the slate, he held the slate on the chair so that nobody else will see it. Of course, the dress cleans the good.
That's good.
She reaches home. Oh, mom, there was nothing. He said, Mom, there was good here. Mom, I passed. The mom say, I believe you. You passed. You did. Yes. I believe you, my son. You did.
Sister, finally, we are running out of time. This is an interesting one. Sister, you said nothing, the man that was cured or healed of blindness by Jesus, you know, Jesus answered that it's not the fault of the mom or the or the dad. So,
Yes.
and you said the event shows that nothing, it has nothing to do with sin, but everything about God. That Jesus healed him, you know. Okay, what is the difference between faith and miracle? Just 1 minute, sister.
See, Jesus healed people, I believe, out of faith. He healed people because of the faith they have.
Where
Not,
lies the faith of this man now?
you remember, this man
Mhm,
born blind came to
mhm,
Jesus, isn't it?
uh-huh.
He came to Jesus. I think it was the man that was shouting when Jesus was passing.
Okay, that's blind Bartimaeus. That's blind Bartimaeus saying, Jesus, son of David.
Okay, this one was brought by the Jews in order to trap Jesus, isn't it?
There are so many blind people
There
that
are so
Jesus
many,
healed.
but in all of them, I still believe that Jesus healed more by faith. And our life itself is a miracle.
It's a miracle.
The fact that we breathe in and out is a miracle. So once
Mm.
your faith has increased, even to that of a mustard seed, Jesus uses it to heal us. So, which means in the healing of Jesus, we also have to contribute by believing.
Absolutely.
And Jesus is
Mm.
saying, if you have this faith, you can even do what he has done.
Much more.
Which means if we have faith, you and I can heal, can
Mm.
cure. It's not so
Mm.
much like a miracle. When miracle happens, it is something beyond us.
Us. Yeah.
Yes, we
Mm.
cannot perform miracle without God.
Without God.
But our faith, we can help people. That's
So it's focusing like applying faith to our inner healing.
exactly, exactly. Believe. If you do
Mm.
focusing and believe, it works very well. It has worked for so many people. I have so many
Sister,
stories
just
of
1 minute. What is the difference between focusing and meditation? Meditation. Is there any
when you
difference?
are when you are meditating, you are reflecting about your life in connection with God,
Mhm.
your spiritual life, and all that. But when you are focusing on the issues in this body that has been part of your pain or what have been carrying along. And it is only you who can find it, talk about it, and then you can bring it for God for healing.
Wow.
So they are not the same.
Thank you very much, sister, for finding time to be with us. 12
Thank you.
or 6 hours difference. Sister, thank you. Daloso, Daloso. We
Thank you very
appreciate
much
you.
for inviting me. And I'm still willing to talk about this focus on it. It helps so many people that it can, because
Many
for me,
people. Sister, don't worry. We are coming again. We are going. We are Oliver Twist, so we are coming. Hey, trust me. But you know there is first scarcity. I'll still put enough money and drive my car meet you. Sister, kindly lead us in the closing prayer.
okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. You are a great woman also. I appreciate your resilience, your effort, to move on. So God will continue to bless all that you're doing to help humanity. In the name
Amen.
of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
We invite our Mother Mary to intercede for us as we say, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you
Blessed are
among
you
women,
amongst women,
and blessed is the
blessed
fruit of
is the
your
fruit
womb,
of thy
Jesus.
womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary,
Holy
Mother
Mary,
of God, pray for us
pray
sinners,
for us sinners,
now at the hour
now
of
at
our
the
death.
hour of our
Amen.
death.
Our
Amen.
Lady, seat of wisdom, pray for
Pray
us.
for us.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Sister,
Thank
let's say bye-bye to our audience. Speak Swahili, please. Please.
For my audience, I say Kwaheri and Asante for listening to me. And in this in my own language, I say Dalunu.
Download, download. So, Sister Kobesia, bye-bye.